I know I cuss a lot and I ain't perfect, so God help me along. But I wanted to give out um, a verse that's why I don't agree with narcissistic parenting, especially in adult life. Folks think that as soon as a child is born, they're bound to be controlled by their parents, even when they're grown. But on the contrary, and I've been keeping this a secret since 2007 when I read a book about this. Galatians 4, chapter 4, 1 to 7 debunks that. People twist the Bible once again. Proverbs, St. Peter chapter 1, 2021, and St. Peter's verse 2 Peter, which is Second Peter, both in Second Peter, Second Peter chapter 3 verses 15, 17, to exaggerate obedience. There's two different Greek words for those terms in the New Testament, and submit. A lot of folks not know that. And it's usually people who are no different than the 34 of Ezekiel. Okay, so when I see a steward, a pastor, a priest, or a parent, anyone in the leadership role, they're proved to be untrustworthy, and people think that you're supposed to trust your leaders. First Corinthians chapter 4, 2. Thank you. The police department proved that already. Okay, anybody that has bad leadership who act like wolves in sheep clothing ain't nothing to be trusted. And so, instead of me lashing out, I'm trying to use different measures, getting mad, screaming, cursing. I've been hiding that verse because when I bring it up to people or verses that debunk their wolfish clothing interpretation, they go balloons and they have their false witnesses, the gatekeepers, the flying monkeys, like in Witch West when Dorothy was trying to escape. She would send her flying monkeys to go after them, go after her, and what I'm saying. These people come after me, but they can't argue with truth. They think their truth is true because they never discern it. They never test everything how was good. It was Saint Paul told Thessalonians, but no. In Galatians, which you have to understand why Galatians, the epistles, Saint Paul, excuse me, epistles, the Pauline letters, in Galatians, whenever I talk about the Bible, like, especially us African Americans, because the white English and Protestant people in the South twist the Bible to support slavery, they forget I said twist, okay? Because in Galatians, the book of Galatians debunks slavery, okay? Chapter 5 of Galatians says, do not yoke of slavery. And y'all know I mentioned the second chapter in Galatians. Well, St. Paul tells you that people who will befriend you and try to, try to go against your freedom, enslave you, the false brothers, okay? And that, trust me, I know a lot of people of all colors who are like that, including those in the family, who are like that verse. That's why I don't go see them. Now, people think I'm being unbiblical. No, that's not true. On your end, you're not true because in Matthew 10, it talks about separate the family, okay, for toxic reasons, not healthy reasons, like in what the ICE is doing with the immigrants who are Latino, whether you're documented or not, that ends up happening in slavery, separating healthy family. No, we're talking about when people who provide toxic behavior, sinful behavior to you and mess up your spirituality, especially your life, and then once you choose them over God, you know what I'm saying? They think by their false interpretation they can hurt you and abuse you and keep you. No, Jesus will separate the family in Matthew 10. So I know about that when people try to tell me that I'm being rude, evil by not visiting. No, not all family members are meant to be family members. I mean that they don't fit their true role as mother and fathers. They could be just as sinful as anything else, cause they're human just like anybody else. Okay, and if they in the way of doing right, which is doing something for God, then they don't need to be in your life. I'm sorry. That's why I'm glad my mama was not in my life and my dad didn't hardly raise me. Okay, because their behavior was not good. It was toxic. My grandmother, we don't see each other because she has a toxic behavior. Okay, and people when I was going through get with the job corps. I was trying to get my life together. Everybody talking about you the reason why you don't got your life together. That's not true. I had people enabling my problem. They didn't want me to be an adult. And when I turned 18 back in '97 in August, because I'm gonna be 39 soon, they was trying to stop me from being adult. But they complain about millenniums and Generation Y, Z, whatever, not want to come out the house and not clean up and everything, and they're grown. See what happens? Okay. So, because they were taught them folks at 18 to get out my house and go on your own, then wouldn't have about that problem. People was attacking my self-sufficiency. People using religion and the Bible. As far as if you say F your interpretation, not cussing God, the Bible is cussing their little distorted interpretation to do wrong to me. But for years, I kept this secret. The reason why that I rebelled against these people because of Galatians chapter 4, 1 to 7. Okay? My mama and daddy and my grandma ain't supposed to run my life, period, once I reach the age. And that's age 18 today here in the United States. I am not supposed to be underneath their roof. I am not supposed to be living with their brother to say not to obey them no more. The person I'm supposed to obey now is God. And remember, we're God's children first, then our parents, not the other way around. A lot of people preach that it's, oh, you're my child and God. No, we can go back to Matthew 10, okay? About the, he can kind of, he not become bring peace to the world, but a division, you know what I'm saying? And Father goes, people forget about that verse. That's God who made the commandment saying it in Jesus the flesh, okay? So in the three-person Trinity, okay, the Father, the Holy Spirit, okay? So therefore, what's the difference? So I've been keeping that and I'm praying that and asking God to imply Galatians 4, 1 to 7 in my life, period. Because that's been keeping me down when I didn't open up and told people who use the distortion of the scriptures against me about being self-sufficient, independent. And my family do not want me to be independent. That's why I don't go see them. Okay? That's why I do not have a car. That's why I live in the hood when it was not my doggone plan in life. And wait for the point white people or Mexicans or anybody. I look at folks with one job black DNA with a lot of guilt on their end. Because they came in to bunk. Talking about they want to keep family. Yeah, toxic families, not healthy families. Because they would not, all that ratchet not be going on. So to those who are victims of toxic parenting, grandparenting, stewardship, please read in your Bible Galatians 4 to 1 7 and ask God to apply in your life. And trust and believe these toxic people, 9 10, because I don't know God's thoughts. And Paul did say in Corinthians, I hear people try to speak for God and say what he gonna do and what he not gonna do. I get tired of hearing that lie because Paul said that only God knows his thoughts, the spirit himself. I think it's in Corinthians 2. Okay? These people are liars trying to play God on earth. And they distort the Bible to do so. That's why I don't need to be around them. And if they naming this problem, being blind, like Jesus said, the false preachers will get the elect blind, let the dead bury dead. That's why I don't go see the family. Okay, due to Matthew 10. Okay, due to they say they love me. What love? If Saint Paul said in Corinthians 13 that love is not cruel, temperate, and rude, and brought over injury, then why y'all talking like that to me? Calling me out my name, ain't gonna be. That's why I had suicidal issues and depression. Because when I was getting bullied at school, I was getting bullied at home. That's why they had no respect for those people. They respect me first. There was no mutual respect. God say treat everybody when we treat. Yes, you want to respect your parent, but they also tell the parents that who scandalized little ones need to sin to be thrown into the sea. And that's in Matthew 18. So these people think that God has this arrogant mentality like them in Tyrim, and they love to go to Old Testament and distort that. But Luke 6 debunk all that. God is not going to punish me. Because in the Bible said, do not condemn, you be condemned. And that's what Jesus said in Luke 6. I think it's 27 or 37. These people are false teachers. And then they talk about correct. No, two things that folks forget about correction. The Bible says in Proverbs 9, 7, 9, you ain't supposed to correct nobody who don't hear earn answer on your end, not on that person's end. And if you're going to correct somebody, last time I checked, in St. Paul told St. Timothy in Second Timothy chapter 2, 24, 25, why are you not correcting kindness? Why are you just lashing out this evil behavior? Why I'm not, do y'all get why I get so angry with these people who say they in the right? They not in the right. They I know about their bad fruit. That's what Jesus said in the Gospels about their fruit. That's why I don't want them to be my steward. That's why I left my job this past Monday because of bad fruit running things. The evil person doing the wrong and trying to defend their wrong, call it right, and trying to say I'm wrong. That's why I know I didn't have no self guilt and I walked out on the job. I sure did. I walked out on a job because of it. Because it was wrong what they did. They was abusing their power. If folks forget the Pharisees and scribes abuse their power and authority. That's why St. Peter said in the Bible, trust God rather than man. Obey God rather than man. Okay? When man is wrong, you don't obey man. You taught what St. Peter, Paul said in Romans, but he was talking about a good authority, not no bad authority. Y'all don't discern that. And once again, St. Peter said the scriptures is teaching the heart of stand and even unstable. So I know these people by their bad fruit. And they can't teach me anything good because they don't have to, they wouldn't be out their eye and try to take a split out of mine. I don't want their stewardship near me. And I have a right to because they are evil. They try to play like they're not evil, but they are. And I know them by their bad fruit. Especially in their own dirty laundry in front of my face, how they treat me. Respect go both ways. He said treat those when we treat me no age, no status. It mean anybody. That we supposed to treat each other with respect. We ain't supposed to dehumanize each other. You know what I'm saying? Disrespect each other regardless of what age group. Like when I said about LaQuisha, I said no matter what age the guy was, it was wrong with what she did. Elderly or not. Even with her own child. LaQuisha Johnson who beat that Latino man up. Respect go both ways, y'all. I get tired of y'all act like God has favoritism when he said many times he didn't. Y'all like to hear that because it's the ugly truth that you've been lied to over the years and you have to discern it. Because it don't question. Excuse me, St. Paul said to test everything how was good. That's discernment. It's not about testing God. God wants you to be intelligent and knowledgeable. Because in Hosea 4:6 it says people suffer of a lack of knowledge, perish. That's why that folks don't want to read. That's why I'm reading books trying to knowledge, trying to get my life together. Because I can't be doing this all my life. I ain't trying to be, I didn't do nothing and stay at the bottom all my long life. That's not my plan. So, when the one thing when I was in Job Corps, they was calling. It's funny if I was the bad person in the family. Why the heck? I want to cuss and say heck. You calling Job Corps and asking me how I'm doing. I'm be when I was all these bad things. It said, and even the family can contact me right now trying to. Why? Why are you worried? You said I was all these negative things. I gave you problems, all this stuff, but I got all your life, and I'm not. I'm not begging you. You know. So, and don't give me that dormant distortion of the forgiveness, please. You're supposed to forgive, but it ain't your interpretation of folks out there, please. I know about dormant forgiveness. There's a teacher about the slaves when it came about their masters here in the United States. And still slavery and racism still going on because it benefits they behind. And they not critiquing them people who provide it. That's one thing I hate, but that's why I want to be corrected. Go after people who first hand give it out. Because first thing you before you to critique the person at the bottom, critique the ones at top. They don't want in charge. Remember they say in the Bible, yeah, masters and teachers are the same Greek word. But whether you read the King James, I'm not Protestant, but it also means the same thing in James chapter 3 in New American. All right? We not all presume to be teachers, all be judged strictly. And these people are not supposed to all presume to teach. They the best by their way they act. That's why I didn't listen to. I was hard headed on purpose, not glad I was. That was my discernment. That was my spirit stuff kicking anything poison coming from the devil. And these people use their stewardship. They acting like Jeremiah 6:13 to 14 and 5 26 and 31. That's what they acting like in Ezekiel 34. I don't want that as a steward. That's why they took the Bible. That's why they took the Bible out of school. Let me tell you the reason why I took the Bible, because people was using that Bible to store. It wasn't because it was against God. They were forcing religion on people who didn't want to. God wants people who's real, not fake. You know? So that's the reason why. I don't want nobody teaching my kid a false interpretation of his words so they can be brutal and abuse and get their pleasure on. They selfish, you know what I'm saying? Trying to act like the Etchifists. That's why they kick the Etchifists. That's why St. John said in chapter 3, I mean, in the 3rd John, excuse me, 9 to 10, about the Etchifists being, dumb near, and he tells later on to not act evil, talking about his actions. It's so many theatrics out here, y'all. I swear, it's too many theatrics in any position of power. And when I see a theatrics, I walk out. I don't want to get ugly and rowdy and get locked up. I might lose some money, but not all money is good. The love of money is what all evil. When I say the love, that way you have drug dealing, people prostitute, whatever. Killing for the love of money. That even with the racism down there in Los Angeles, the black is due to the love of money. Okay, money. He killed another brother over the love of money. So don't tell about no job. You work a bad employer. Excuse me. God can provide me a better opportunity or give me my own opportunity. I don't need no wicked man to teach me right. If I need a wicked person to teach me right, then that's what I get Satan to do that for me. I don't need no person in the flesh who need, you know what I'm saying? The one thing I love I read was First Timothy, when Paul told Timothy, I think it was in chapter 3, that leaders, we're talking about the leaders' behavior is important. That's why when I see a bad employer, red flag, I know they behavior, in fact, they negative self behavior, and I walk out. Now I know I ain't perfect, but how I'm gonna do right, and I gotta deal with this negative spirit in my life. Then I'm at fault if I allow it to be a part of my life, right? So that's what I tell y'all. Those who are toxic in your parents, not every parent is a parent, y'all. And like I say, people talk about, yeah, we supposed to respect them. Don't mean we supposed to obey them. There's two different meanings. Because I'm glad Galatians chapter 4 debunked that argument right there, that false interpretation. I'm no longer a slave to my parents anymore. Once I become an age 18, once I become an adult, I'm not supposed to do things my way. Yeah, because God gave me free will in Deuteronomy, the blessing or curse. If I do wrong, that's the curse. If I do right, that's the blessing. He gave me free will. And God allowed us to have free will to see who's the fake for him, who's the real. That's one that people don't understand why we're not perfect. Because he wants us to see either who real for him, who fake. I should not be going to church because somebody wants me to go to church. I'm going to go to church because I choose to go to church due to my free will he gave me. And see, he see through my spirit and my heart, because he judged that. He don't judge the outer appearance. That's the whole reason why. That's why forcing religion on somebody is wrong. Because he sees through the heart of a person, not through someone else's expectations. So that's all I gotta say is that I'm praying these verses in my heart, in my life, that it be my reality. And y'all, I ain't perfect. You see me, I'm bipolar. And this is you use this crush no Galatians 3:21 is a epitome of who I am. All the things I do, it says God is to tell the fathers not provoke your children and they become discouraged. That's because of mental issues. The Bible does defend that. And I am the epitome of that verse. And everything I did on this channel, talking, I wanted people to see that so you don't practice that mess on your kids. You don't scandalize your kids with your arrogant behinds as authority figures. You have a healthy way of raising your kids. And I bet you 9 10 they respect you and you respect them. Because that's why I want to raise my kids. I want my kids to respect me and I respect them. I don't want to curse my kids out. I don't want to be civil to my children. That's not love. We've been taught and conditioned to have a unhealthy way of raising children, and they come out the way they are. Based, that's the aftermath. When you see these kids acting crazy, even as adults, that's the aftermath of their bad parenting and upbringing from their own bad stewards. And they don't take fault in it because they have a title. And folks have Stockholm syndrome. I don't have Stockholm syndrome. They get what they deserve. That's why I talk bad about Black China's mama. She the way she is because her mother was a bad steward. And she should have every right to be critiqued because she hurt that child's life. And then she mad because she abandoned her. She not abandoning Black China's mom. Black China's not abandoning Tokyo Tony because she's a mother. It's her actions. It's a bad stewardship. And that's God doing it. I'm sorry. It is what it is. Matthew 10, 30 something, 34, whatever. When you put a sword, that's a toxic family members. Not all families are supposed to be together. If it's toxic and ratchet is going on, and then the people in with a title providing it, that's not their place to do that. So that's the reason why that I want to share this, because I know you'll say, well, he cuss, he just y'all, I'm only human. And let God help me along because I know if it's in Romans 10 or 9, God helps people who are disobedient alone. He don't need no human being, especially a toxic one of all places. Like I said, if I gotta get the devil through that mess. But it's a work in progress to change because I'm getting close to 40. And I can't be doing this all my life. Getting angry all the time. Ready to hurt somebody because of what they did to me. I gotta live on. In my last days on this earth, you know, I don't want to spend my life like that before I go. So I am praying those verses to be part instead of just reading it and expecting to be part. No, I'm planting that seed so it can be part of my life. Because I tried to do it on my own, and I was afraid God was on the opposite side. But I'm seeing the difference is He's on my side. I feel like the footprints poem y'all see in people's and God said, why you was being easy with me all this time. I didn't realize when I was going through those situations, God was with me. I thought God was against me, especially people's in false interpretation, especially from my prior evangelical background. And I know the Catholic Church teachings was against what I was going through, but you have folks in the Houston diocese when they be kicked out by Pope Francis. Why when I told one in the profession that I can tell Pope Francis only they got scared and begged me. Now, no, I emailed this the email Vatican, so I went back. But if I do see a change in the diocese here, I will go back to the communion table because that's Jesus in the flesh, the Bible of Jesus Christ. Because I miss having that healthy food as I highest from worship. It's communion. You know what I'm saying? To help me go through, that's why you do what you go to confession. And folks will say, why you go to confession? Well, Matthew 9, Jesus did put men to forgive sins. Okay, read Matthew 9. And then John chapter 23, I believe, where he said forgive sins. Because remember, the church, Jesus built the church on rock of Peter. In America, it means rock, okay? Peter. In Matthew 16. So Peter was in charge of the church as in being the bishop. Okay, of course, Jesus as God was in charge. He let Peter be in charge as well. That's why every apostle, Peter was the first when he mentioned the apostles. Peter, we call the Catholic Church here, which means universal in Greek. When Jesus told his apostles in Matthew 28, excuse me, to go teach all nations, that means universal, what I'm saying? And the name was given that because it was the only church in the world. There was no other churches with personal interpretation of scripture. There were no Orthodox who took some of their religion and made their own, what I'm saying? It wasn't that stuff. It was only one church. So when he was why it went to wrong, why they went wrong. Well, remember the Jews rejected Jesus? He told his apostles go after the Gentiles. That's why Paul went to Rome. That's why Peter went to Rome. Peter went to Rome, and then remember say ecclesia, which is like in Spanish, iglesia means a church. In Greek, ecclesia, because I don't know how to speak Greek, but I'm trying to pronounce this, which I can't even read the Greek text of the. Because most of them say you need to read the Greek text of those saying, in the Hebrew, so you can understand where it's coming from. Because people once again misinterpret what it means. Um, well, in first five, Peter chapter 5:13, that's why I don't lead the Catholic Church. Peter was in Rome, and he did bring his church from Jerusalem to Rome, and um, that's why this is in Vatican City. It's what's the St. Peter Basilica. Okay, yeah, really, okay. And the Catholic Church was, the church, the people that Jesus, you know, the apostles, the disciples went out there to preach the gospel to, because the Jews persecute them. Not every Jew, but you know what I mean. I don't want to be anti-Semitic. And don't forget, Jesus was a Jew himself, and he was the first Christians were Jews, former Jews as well. So don't come with the anti-Semitic thing on both ends, whether it be those who force anti-Semitism or those who against it. Okay, and he gave later on. I think it was Saint John's, one of his disciples, was Saint Ignatius and Antioch, gave the name Catholicos, Catholic, universal, because of the church commission was to teach all nations. Okay, and like in Revelation, every tongue, every tribe, every nation. That's what it was supposed to be, to go after. So you understand why I'm not a Protestant, and the reason why I hate Protestantism. Yes, there's corruption in church. Um, Even when Jesus was here, Peter was not loyal to Jesus. Y'all know he did not exactly. Judas was one of the 12. He betrayed Jesus. Okay, and Jesus already told us. And y'all talking about the corruption church. Y'all shocked. You don't read your Bibles. I mean, sound like Barack Obama when you say that. 13th sound like good eye Rock. God dog, I'm acting like just like him. We're both Leos, by the way. We're both August Leos, me and Rock. He saying that in chapter 13 there's fish and good fish, bad fish and good fish. The fish, the farm, the person who's collecting the fish is God, right? The good fish are the faithful people who's trying to repent their sins and do right. Okay. The bad ones are the unrepentant ones, and then it doesn't mean the clergy. I mean the clergy. I mean even include the popes. It could be the parishioners. So that's why there's a scandal going on. Okay, and the good wheats. Wheats. Yeah, you eat wheat bread. That's good. You can eat no weed. Okay, I ain't talking about. And they include that y'all with that marijuana. I'm not with that marijuana stuff that stinks. But the weeds corrupt the garden, right? Okay, the weeds harvest, right? Okay. Well, the gardener gets the wheats. That's good. That's why you eat wheat bread. It's more healthy than white bread, right? Okay, because when I go to Subway, I gave me some wheat bread. I used to hate not hate my family telling me, my dad, my grandfather, but he used to tell me, he hate them here, eat wheat bread. As I get older, I found out that white bread is bleached. It is unhealthy. That's the reason why we have lifetime issues, especially when you're getting older. That's why I had a colonoscopy, okay? They say I was healthy, but still, these are toxic, bleach, poison stuff in there. Sometimes I eat white bread, sometimes, but mostly I buy wheat bread. When I go to Subway, I eat wheat bread. Yes, we'll talk about okay. Wheat is healthy. The weeds are not. So the gardener gets the wheats and take it with him. That's God taking the faithful one to heaven. Those who repented and trying to be the faithful, the saints, as you call it, because saints are holy people, right? That's what we call the those who pass away saints, like Saint Paul, because we know they're in heaven. Okay, all right. Saint Blessed Virgin Mary. Thank you. Those holy ones. They mean saints means holy ones. Okay, but the unrepentant sinners, they include clergy, priests, ministers, parishioners, any of us, including myself, if not changed. They go to hell. So that's the reason why that I know when I hear the scandals, it don't stop me from believing the truth. Because I know that man is not perfect. When I became a Catholic, I knew that man was not perfect. When I left my Baptist faith, let me tell you about it. They was teaching that once you're saved, you're perfect. I'm like, no. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad that the same Matthew said in the Bible that nothing that law don't go to heaven because they'll teach you that the misinterpretation of John chapter 3:16 when it talks about who is saved, by calling his name. No, well, this is the false doctrine because he said born of spirit and water. That's born again baptism, but it's a process. That's why in Matthew and in Mark, Jesus said, "Whoever endures to the end will be saved," meaning that salvation is not temporary; it's temporary, not permanent. That's why you hear people say, "I'm saved," and then go out and do the same simple things they did with mass. Y'all see that all the time. And go back to confession. James chapter 5 said, "Confess to another." So that's why, since the church, we founded by the apostles, Jesus and the apostles, apostolic succession, okay, um, apostolic succession is one thing. I understand how people can disagree with that, but I would be a church that Jesus founded, not a church that founded by some man, his false interpretation of the word. And so a lot of people hate the Catholic Church because they debunks their interpretation of the Bible. They false interpretation. That's what the main. They see the Bible as authority, okay? When it's not, it's authoritative book. When it said profitable in Saint Timothy in 2 Timothy chapter 2:16, it's saying 3:16, 3:16, excuse me. It's saying profitable means authoritative, helpful or skillful means authoritative. Okay, the keys of heaven are authority. And then people say, why you say that man? We're not saying a man is authority. We're talking about seat. Okay, when Jesus bought his church, to me his church on Rock of Peter, he said the keys of heaven. You get the keys of heaven. Okay, wherever you're bound on earth is bound, or wherever y'all know what I'm talking about. Okay, those keys come from Isaiah, excuse me, 20, just give me 22, 15, 22. And my Hebrew is not good, but the prophet was very bad with people, and God was upset and gave it to another prophet, got their names. And he said that you're the key of the house of David, and he should be the father of inhabitants. But Pope means papa, means father, okay, in Greek and Hebrew. No, Greek in Latin. And so the whoever saying whoever door is shut, shut and closed. Same thing bound on earth and bound in heaven. That same thing goes in. So put Isaiah 22, 15, 22 to Matthew 16, chapter 16, 13, and 19. Those keys, the same house of David. We say responsibility or authority. That's what it means. So when they gave Peter that's why we call him the first pope. Of course, him as a human is not thought, but the seat. And people forget that popes do make mistakes. Popes do sin. But when they speak in faith and morals on a doctrine level, that's what infallibility means. Not their behavior. When they speaking, because Jesus said the gates of hell would never prevail against it. Not the people's sinful behavior, meaning the doctrines would never be changed. Okay? That's why in Protestant churches, they change their doctrines. And they said, well, what about eating meat? Y'all used to eat meat on Fridays, not eat meat on Friday night, it's doing Lent. Those are disciplines, those are not doctrines. Okay? There's a difference between dogma, which is doctrine, and disciplines. Just for example, they used the priest cannot get married because of Corinthians 7, where Paul talked about celibacy. That a person who's not married will be focused on God, which is very true because I'm not married and I am focused on God, even though I do sin heavily. However, and it's giving me room to focus on God. And if I was married trying to do this, I had to concern about my wife, my kids, the bills being paid. That is very true. So that's the reason why celibacy is a discipline in the Catholic Church for the priesthood and the religious, which is the nuns and the monks, so they can focus on God. If they're married, they're not focused on God. They can always be changed. But when it comes to marriage, for example, people cannot get married with the same sex in the Catholic Church. No matter what, how many new fake news you hear about that, that cannot happen. Um, you know, so you see what I'm saying? There's a doctrine. People cannot, I'm trying to think, believe in abortion. That's murder. People cannot condone on a doctrine level fornication. You see what I'm saying? Had sex. Yeah, get my point. So that's the that's the difference. Um, just you know, what I'm saying I can't go in. And the Catholic Church cannot say, okay, well, Zach, we gonna change doctrine. You go rob a store and sell dope. That cannot be changed. You gotta get my point. Now, if yeah, a person, a priest, a minister can do that, but he's in the wrong. Just like, for example, said, well, the Catholic Church defended sexual abuse. No, it did not. You have people individually in leadership that did that. And I say individually. But the doctrines of the Catholic Church disagree with sexual abuse with children. You know what I'm saying? People who lost did not have the courage to tell the people in the church, didn't act like Paul when he told Peter all, about how he acted, okay? You know, to critique Peter, okay? They did not have the courage to do that. They actually was blind, not going on anything. And I'm glad that I'm a Jewish X, because millennials in both, oh Lord, and millennial, older people, the baby boomers and before them, are so gullible when it comes to leadership. Us, Generation X, we see you for who you are as an individual. And those millennials, y'all know we will call y'all behind out when you're wrong, guys. What your title is, okay? And that's how we are, okay? And I'm glad that we like. Even I think Pope Francis was saying that we encourage young people to speak out against bad authority. Yes, he did say that, and I shared it on my. Then I shared it on my social media on Facebook before I got blocked with Elvin. So that's my point. So that's the real reason why that I are very when I see authority is wrong. Of course, we have to be respectful. It's hard for me to be respectful. Go ahead and admit that, but I call out their behavior because Jesus called out the Pharisees' behavior when they were wrong. It was religious authority. He called them out. Really, he didn't. He didn't sit here and be docile to them. Of course, he didn't go out and curse them out, whatever. But he called out their wrongdoing. Okay, how hypocritical were. So I do the same thing for anybody. I talk bad about those I critique their bad behavior and because don't judge. That means judge the soul, okay? Don't judge the soul. Y'all get that twisted. Yeah, you have to be judgmental to your examine. You examine, you know what I'm saying? You put judgment on yourself, you don't examine, okay? And if it's examine, you know what I'm saying? That's why we go to confession. We examine our soul. Who we take communion, whoever drink his blood, it put judgment on himself. Come on, okay? That's why we do what we do. That's why when you go to confession, when you go to communion, you cannot just, if you ain't been there, you cannot eat the bread, right? Because you put judgment on yourself. And there is mortal sin, being sin. In 1 John chapter 17, 5:17 or 13:15, it talks about not all sin is deadly. That's where we get the mortal and deadly. So, no, there's a difference. One thing that I hate what Luther did, Martin Luther did, not Martin King, Martin Luther from 1500, he took out the things in the Bible that y'all don't have as Protestants. Because we have more books than you do. It wasn't added in falsehood. That was for the truth. Martin Luther, who made Protestants based on his interpretation, took those books out the Bible out because he disagreed with that part of Old Testament, the so-called Apocrypha, because it defends purgatory. And also St. Peter talks about the spirits in prison in his first letter. I think it's chapter 3, if I'm not mistaken, when he said Jesus went to the spirit that was disobedient with Noah. Okay, that's purgatory. Purgatory means to prefer. When St. Paul said that you be burned by fire to be saved, whatever in Corinthians, whatever, that's what it's talking about, okay? So the venial sins, people who did not know and full knowledge of their sinful behavior will be there, and God will cleanse the ex. What St. Paul, St. Peter said that when the preaching spirits and baptized spirits in prison. Okay, all right, but those who have full knowledge and did the heinous things will be in hell. That's what folks understand. I'm glad I did more research on this. So that's what people say. If all sins are deadly, yeah, when you die, you go, you die, right? So either your sin is If it's been you and you know when doing right, but you still got some sins that was not cleansed, that you did not know about, you are in purgatory. If you have mortal sins, you know exactly what you are doing. You know, you rape somebody, you kill somebody. Not justify killing isn't defend yourself. Now, I'm talking about that because that's defend in the Bible about defending yourself. I'm talking about intentionally killing somebody for the sake of evil. Okay, going murdering people, killing hate crime, that type of thing. You know, you're going to hell, and that's very true. And let me tell you the reason why. I was talking to a gangster recently. We was on the bus, Latino guy, I ain't gonna say who he is. He was talking about how millennials want to bust it on something. But he said, a murderer, they think they're tough. I said, yeah, but when they don't have their weapon, they scared. That's very true. That's very true. If the biggest gangster thug, Charlo thug, whatever out there, if he don't got his weapon, but you have a weapon, you know he's scared of dying. He act like he's not scared, and I said, yeah, because he know that if he's not forgiven for his sin, behavior, because the unclean go to heaven, as what Saint John said in the Revelation, in the law to go to heaven. It was the thing, they can say he saved, but Jesus said law to go to heaven. Matthew 7. He knows he's not going to heaven. He knows that he's not God to take a life. Okay, he knows that. That's why he's scared of dying. He'll take someone else's life and act all bad and vicious, but he know. That's why when someone threatened me recently, and I said before, what's the point? You're trying to take my life, knowing that you're not. If you get taken out by the police, remember I was saying that you know that your life is going to be taken. You're not going to go where you're going to go either. You know, and same thing who a Klansman. Y'all talking about be mixed heritage hotel right there. Those people. The reason why I don't get so angry, or I get angry of the effect of slavery, but the past. Let me explain why. Because the slave masters, many of our ancestors who part white, who are white, who mixed in our DNA by rape and everything else, I know they're not in a good place. Yes, God only knows who go to heaven and hell. Because at the end of that they can say, God forgive me for everything I did, and they truly did mean it, they can go to heaven. If they don't go to hell. They go to hell. Okay? So let folks know. I'm at the effect of slavery, the aftermath that still continue of slavery in those who push it in today's society. That's why people blame white supremacists about what happened in Jim Crow and slavery, because we're adding on to what happened in the past and not letting that go. You see what I'm saying? So, could I tell people? I said, but so you claim it's heritage.